Happy Wednesday. Happy day of Mercury, and welcome to Beyond the Veil with Adina. I am Adina, and I am glad to meet you. If this is your first time around here, I am your resident hostess with the mostest. I am your resident necromancer, medium, oracle, wise woman, prophetess, priestess, woo lady, whatever you want to call us these days. And I do readings and divinations around here. In fact, we are going to do some today. So if that's not your thing, I invite you to leave peacefully and with respect to my community and yourself. And if that is your type of thing, then I welcome you to stay around here and join yourself with and in my like-minded community. To my OG subscribers, viewers, busted babies, bush watchers, and return viewers, happy Wednesday, happy day of Mercury to all of you. I am so happy to see you. As you arrive in the chat, please let me know how you're doing because I would really like to know. Give me 1 second, you guys. Just one quick one. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for giving me 1 quick second. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Happy Wednesday. I'm waiting to see some familiar faces in the chat. Hi, Kyrie1763. How are you this Wednesday? Oh, excuse me, I'm just still on me. All right, we're 2 minutes in, and I see that we are slow to have people join. Hey, Tiara. Hey, Leo Fire. Okay, now you guys are coming in. YouTube is a little slow these days. I heard that YouTube shut down the other day. YouTube, you guys got to do something with these bots so when I do my fuck around and find outs, y'all don't get hit. Okay? Hi, Adorned. I'm doing okay. My sister just texted and said that my niece has to go to the neurologist because she's been having some headaches, and to be honest, I wanted to cry immediately. And I hate that, but I'm anxious to hear that she's okay. Other than that, I am just fine. Thank you. How's everybody doing in the chat? Happy Wednesday, happy day of Mercury. If you just found your way in, welcome to Beyond the Veil with Adina. I am Adina, your resident hostess with the mostest, necromancer, diviner, oracle, priestess, woo lady, reader, all of those things, and I do those things around here. So if that's not your thing, and I just saw a bunch of people leave, so if that's not your thing, I invite you to leave. But if that is your thing and this is your first time around here, make yourself at home in the chat. Okay. So welcome to Current Events Wednesday, you guys. I picked 2 topics. One of which has been on my mind. You guys have heard me mention, in talking about other things, the Epstein files, and I have intentionally not dedicated a reading to that until now, simply because I did not want to lend to the bull of it all, the Jedi mind tricks of it all, because when they came out publicly this time, my first thought as a 38-year-old woman was, why now? Why now? Why do they want the people, or why is it okay for the people to be discussing this now? I've mentioned more than one time here that I have seen these documents well over a decade ago. And I will say, well, it could have just been a decade ago, but it's been a long time ago since I first heard about these documents or saw them. And it was, I'll say, at least a decade ago that I first heard or saw about them. And it was not public. It was something that you had to be on, digging around online to find before, it disappeared. And then recently it's become a thing. I also have mentioned that I remember around Trump's first term, actually around 2008, between 2018 and 2020, I noticed the rumors and conspiracy theories about certain politicians, entertainers, celebrities, and the such business people walking around with foot monitors and trying to hide some sort of ankle monitor device. I remember in 2018 specifically, I'll even bring it up. I remember in 2018 specifically, dozens of CEOs and executives voluntarily stepped down or resigned from their positions in companies simultaneously around that whole ankle monitor theory situation. They were happening at the same time. Okay, I'm going to Google something really quick. In 2018, how many, and it was during the government shutdown, so how many CEOs resigned? Challenger tracked 1,452 CEO changes in 2018, 25.2% higher than the 1,160 CEOs who left their positions in 2017. So between 2017 and 2018, almost 3,000 CEOs resigned from their positions in companies. According to a website that's called PRSay, CEO turnover rate in 2018 was the highest in 10, I imagine this is going to say 10 years if I click on it, but let me see. Was the highest in 10 years. Okay. So let me also Google 2018 celebrity ankle monitors. And I'm just bringing this up not to say that it's true, but to recall certain things that were being said in 2018 or around that time that kind of were intentionally hushed. Say, for instance, I'll bring up Oprah because she's one of the people who they said had one. So this was 2020. The origin of the claim, these rumors circulated heavily in 2020 and were linked to the QAnon conspiracy theory, which falsely alleged that various celebrities and public figures were under house arrest for child sex trafficking. So that was in 2020 when that rumor was going around, and I only Googled it to verify that the rumor was going around. So you guys don't think that I'm making up that a rumor such as that existed. According to USA Today, fact check, Ellen, Oprah, many others are not under house arrest for child sex trafficking. Let me get rid of all these pop-ups. Okay. What happened to the article? Okay. The claim: well known politicians and celebrities are under house arrest for sex trafficking. If you were to believe a rash of conspiracy theories on social media, many bold-faced names are in serious trouble with the law, and it isn't just the coronavirus pandemic keeping them at home. Recent posts allege that celebrities and VIPs such as Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah Winfrey, the Gates, and the Clintons, amongst others, are under house arrest for child sex trafficking. Mind you, TikTok came out in 2020 while you guys were under house arrest, while we were under house arrest. And that's why a lot of you guys aren't aware of this stuff. But I'm only reading it to bring it to your awareness if you guys weren't aware of these rumors going around in 2020. Circulating around some of the same people in these Epstein documents. Some posts target specific people such as DeGeneres. One claim has been shared more than 3,500 times as of Thursday. Users in the comments say the talk show host can be seen in her latest videos with an ankle bracelet. The accusations live on Twitter, where users speculated a man standing behind DeGeneres in one of her recent videos is a police officer monitoring her arrest. Other widely circulated posts list politicians and celebrities, and next to their names are the words arrested and executed or arrested and under house arrest. Yet another Facebook post that has been shared 32,000 times reads, if it's crazy, or it's crazy, many people don't know Oprah Winfrey is on house arrest for ex trafficking kids, as well as Ellen, Tom Hanks, Clinton's. This list is long. Users in the comments link the claim to YouTube conspiracy theory videos, some of which have racked up more than 14 million views, that claim A-list celebrities are involved in a large ex-trafficking scandal. Many of the claims can be traced back to QAnon followers, a group of people convinced that prominent figures in entertainment and politics are participating in a large ex-trafficking ring. So this was a conspiracy in 2020. What is QAnon? The accusations are not new. Thank you, Rosetta. The accusations are not new. Celebrities and politicians have been a target for years of a group of people spreading conspiracy theories online to review who refer to themselves as QAnon. They just said for years that these accusations have existed, and I just told you guys, as a 38-year-old woman who will be 39 this year, I saw online somewhere the Epstein files and the stories about them at least a decade ago, at least 10 years ago. This article is in 2020. It's 2026, and I said at least a decade ago that I first went down a rabbit hole online when information was a little bit more readily available, and that's when I first came across it. So the accusations are not new. Celebrities and politicians have been a target for years. This is in 2020 of a group of people spreading conspiracy theories online who refer to themselves as QAnon. Joseph Uskinski, a University of Miami professor who has been studying conspiracy theories for decades, told USA Today in 2018. Remember, I just said that Almost 3,000 CEOs stepped down and resigned from their positions between 2017 and 2018. Joseph Uscinski told USA Today in 2018 that QAnon followers are usually Trump supporters who have a strong conspiracy mentality and are probably evangelical. The Guardian reported in 2018 that a user named Q, who claims to be a government insider with top security clearance, began posting messages on the dark web years ago. Because that's where the fuck I found myself, way in the deep shadows of the internet. Not on the dark web like the illegal one, but like back then you can find yourself in the corner of the internet and find yourself in like a web forum where people are just spilling. Not anymore though. It's been cleaned. They began posting messages on the dark web years ago and created a group of anonymous leaders who referred to as QAnon or as Anon. The person behind the conspiracy theories, Q, claims to have knowledge about a large child X trafficking ring, alleging some politicians and celebrities wear ankle monitors and are under investigation. The group attempts to decode anonymous comments on dark web message boards such as 4chan and 8chan. Like I said, I saw those documents a long time ago. And so my question is, why now? Why do they want you guys to know now? Because people spilled and leaked those documents and those testimonies and stories and their personal knowledge of those things online a long time ago, and then the internet went clank clank. Like, why wasn't it a public thing when they first heard about it? And why are you guys encouraged to discuss it now? Those are questions that I first came up with when it became a thing recently. I was like, well, why do they want you guys talking about that now? And they didn't before. Now, let me see, because I think I heard something, but I want to, before I even mention it, I want to confirm it. How you guys doing, by the way? Everybody who I didn't get. Um, okay, so I'll just skip that because I can't cite my source. Hold on. I may have found one on bbc.com. Um, it was clearly gained for a moment. However, the president burned the storm with no apparent lasting damage. After he became a convicted sex offender in 2018. So Epstein became a registered sex offender in 2008. That's how long they've been knowing of these allegations, since 2008. It's almost 20 years later. Um, One second, you guys. This is on BBC.com. In the latest batch of files, the Justice Department also released a list of unverified FBI tips, including some from 2016, when Trump was in the midst of his first presidential campaign. The list includes numerous allegations of sexual abuse made against Trump, Epstein, and other high-profile figures. Um, Some of the documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against President Trump that were submitted in FBI right before 2020 election. The claims were unfounded and false. They would have been weaponized against Trump. It was somewhere where I heard or saw that Trump had boasted about attempting to go after those people in 2018. And I only mentioned that because I just read a couple of other articles when these claims were called conspiracy theory to the public in 2018. But there was also in 2018 a rumor about these same people attached to the Epstein files being seen with ankle monitors or being on house arrest. In 2018, one of the highest records of CEOs stepped down from their positions at their companies. In 2018, we had a government shutdown. In 2020, we had COVID. And so I just mentioned those things to put certain things into perspective about where I'm going to go. So I'm just going to start pulling cards, and I'm going to ask. Yes, he was registered in 2008. I would like to ask, when it comes to the Epstein files, why now? Why is the general public allowed in on it now? Mind you, Trump said in this BBC articles that he thinks that America needs to just move on. It was said that he said in this BBC article that there wasn't enough substantial evidence to prosecute the people, meaning at some point he tried. This was probably around 2018 when there were rumors about these people being under alleged prosecution of some sort or attempted prosecution. But remind you, back then, those were called conspiracy theories from people who were probably evangelicals. And now you guys have Epstein files talking about the same thing that they call conspiracy theories with the same people in 2018. But now they want you guys in on it. Why? Why now? Why? And not why did they release them now? Well, yeah, but why did they release them and sensationalize them to you all? All right, so let's go. Let me cleanse my hands. And I laid the foundation with all those articles so that you all can ask yourselves, well, since she put it like that, why? If it's been a thing for well over a decade, why? If not more than a decade, because he's been a registered sex offender since 2008, which means they were made aware of these allegations in 2008 against Epstein, and they were substantial enough to convict him. The Justice Department has had these documents, I'll say according to these articles, at least since 2016. But it's been at least a decade. So yeah, that was about 2016 that I probably saw them. So there you go. All right. Thank you, Rosetta. All right. Most High Mother and Father God, thank you for this Wednesday, this day of Mercury. Thank you for my peoples here. I don't know if I want to say thank you for YouTube, because I did a fuck around and find out, and I told my spirits I was going to sit back and watch to see who got hit. And then they said YouTube was down the other day. And I said, God damn it. See, y'all got to do something about these trolls and stop blocking me and stop hating on the real player. All right. Spirit, when it comes to the infamous Epstein files that are currently being talked about heavily in the mainstream media, I would like to see why the U.S. government wants the public, or I will say is allowing the general public to be aware of Epstein, the allegations, and the files attached to him. If they have had these documents for some time and have been aware of these allegations for some time, why have the conversations, or have these crimes not already been made public? Now, one could say they sat on it so that they could further investigate. And that would make sense. I wouldn't be surprised to see that they wanted to not, alert the public so that they can catch more people involved. Well, I believe that President Trump did try to go after these people before, but was stopped by another powerful party or entity. These things first came about kind of to the public as conspiracies in 2018. That would have been Trump's first election. We all remember how heavily they went after Trump when he first ran for president, and that is where he became a mockery to the United States. So there was definitely some pushback against him, and it seemed to be a concerted effort. Trump that we see today is, he's on steroids now. He's a version of himself before on steroids, and we did kind of see everything come after him. Nothing stuck. But we did kind of see every charge, every allegation, every joke, every insult, everything kind of came after him. Now, I'm going to say it was my opinion even back then that despite, and this is no bias, but I kind of just look at things for what they are. He could be, a clown and all of the things that people called him in his first term, in his first run. But two things can be true. I do see a concerted effort, and I do see the system being weaponized in a way, because I do think that every politician and president that we have has been tied, or almost most of them, the majority of them have been tied to some kind of allegation of some kind of criminal activity or something underhanded. All of them. All of them. But it was weaponized against one, because it was decided that he wasn't one of the end parties to be politicians at the time. They hadn't brought the business world into the White House in the Oval Office. It's been still passed down from politician to politician. This time, we have a business person backed by other business people, tech people probably, and all of that stuff. So this was a regime change, and this was power entity or power structure against old guard power structure. And I do believe that Trump went after people in that ring, but I do believe that he was stopped by an entity equally as powerful as he was at the time. The challenge is, this is the why now. This is the springing it up, just putting it out there. I think the attempt was to try to use this against the president. Everything else has failed. And at this point, since he's already tried to go after them, and cannot prosecute them because he's already tried. I am a demon. What are you talking about? This is opening me up to demons. I am one. I'm always on demon time. Anyways, since he's already tried to prosecute and found that it was a failure, and I do believe the failure of it all was because there's a bigger entity at play. But nevertheless, it would have stayed dead to the general public if it wasn't something else that could be used to make Trump look bad. The problem is that his enemies are Caucasian people, and you guys typically don't know when someone is, you guys don't know how to read people that well. And you guys have not seen or figured out yet that no matter what you throw at Trump, he gonna crash out and don't give a F. He don't give an F. And he gonna cop to it if he needs to, and he gonna not, and he gonna be like, yeah, those people are stupid, whatever. He literally said we cannot. Let me pull it up here, where he said that they can't prosecute them because there's not enough evidence to prosecute these people. So he's tried, but if I'm asking why now, it's because it's something else that needs to be used to whack Trump. The problem is these are wands. So no real damage was ever going to be done out of any of this being brought either to the public or the Department of Justice. Nothing ever really permanently up until this point was ever going to be done that was going to stick. These are wands, not swords. Which lets me know that this situation was protected from having actual damage done to it. Give me 1 second. Um, the president at the White House on Tuesday said he thought it was really time for the country to get on to something else. For the moment, however, the president has emerged from the storm with no apparent lasting damage. Members of Congress and Epstein's victims, meanwhile, are continuing to call for further disclosures, pointing to documents that they say may exist but weren't included in the release files. Congress, go sit on a gavel stick, because you know who benefits the most, in my opinion, from you guys being distracted and entertained by documents that can't never really come out and tear the system of abuse down. Yes, some casualties may get lost up in war, a few celebrities here, a few politicians here, a few business people here, but will the beast itself actually be persecuted? Hell no. And Congress is like, let the people salivate on that so that they don't ask questions about why we haven't, done anything to anything that's been going on, god dang, except send Jasmine Crockett out to entertain you guys. I keep saying it's a circus. I don't be here for it. I be sleep or working. Yes, Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche has said the government's review of the Epstein files, which was mandated by a law passed by Congress in November, So Congress passed a law mandating that they review them is over, and there are no grounds for new prosecutions. In my opinion, Epstein was also a fall guy because if the system isn't torn down, even if he's the OG person that runs it, somebody else can. But the system is still intact. I'm going to take you guys a little further down a rabbit hole, but stay with me. All right, past position. Page of Swords. This is them knowing about it in the past. And as a page, and not just the Ace of Swords, it's been a while since they've been looking into this. This could mean why they've just been aware of them and not taking action for a long time, in my opinion. I don't know yet. These blackbirds flying in the card tells me that some people that are over even the Justice Department's head were calling shots. You know, the ones that we know of that were attached. Because if this came out a long time ago, which president's era was it? Was it one of the presidents that was in the files? Obama, Bill, Bush, what, all of them were kind of in there. So whose presidency were we under where these allegations were very well aware of? But shots here were being called. Ah! Shut up! Shut up! Hide them! Right! That's what they were saying. Shut up about them. You know, the island. Maybe at the time that these allegations first came out, there could have been one of our presidents that was on them that was currently in office. There's the island, but then here's the hill, which is indicative of the White House in this sense, because it will be the hill that the Justice Department stands on. And they stand above the water and the island, so meaning they have the advantage to do something permanently damaging. But no, this is what they're doing now. Wands, bantering about something that looks like, in my opinion, could have been done something about legally a long time ago, other than just having Epstein be registered as a sex offender in 2008. Because since 2008, other allegations tied to him have come out. And why was he still out? Why didn't they arrest him up until recent history? Interesting. The Hierophant in Converse. Babylon falls slowly but surely. This isn't the tower because it's not a sudden collapse, but it's a collapse nonetheless. And this is of the structures of society and the world as we know it. If some of you are rejoicing, yes, let it fall. Hold on. Because when it falls, when the system, the world as you've known it falls, so will some of you. Yeah. Yep, 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 yep. These people are in chaos, and there is really no organized structure amongst the world leaders as we know it right now. It's kind of every man for itself. As things are falling apart, this is the moment of falling apart and restructuring of chaos. In between the order that arises out of chaos, there's just chaos. And that's what the power structures of the world that we know it are in. The problem is it's going to take some of you with it. Simply because it's too late. Even if you think that you are woke now, The time for being woke has been a long time ago. And the woke that is of today is controlled, which is why it will take some of you with it. Because when I'll say 10 to 20 years ago, when people started to really, really, really wake up and it was a natural movement, a natural spiritual awakening, that's when they kind of censored and cleaned everything, kind of squashed it. The only reason it would be made aware to the masses is if they can control your awakening now based on how what they've learned from the natural awakening that took place before. So I'm not saying it's already too late. I'm saying you're going to have to work harder to stay alert and on your toes because you're already right where they want you, even if you're waking up now. They can control this woke, but there was an awakening that they had no control over, and it happened. And those people aren't able to be re refooled. This is all a controlled awakening. So I'm just going to say be careful with it. And the only way you'll really, really be able to know, your way in between and staying on your toes is that if you're checked in. Because in my opinion, a lot of things shouldn't go over, shouldn't make sense to people as on site, but they do until people are told or there's another conversation started that gets the masses to then paying attention to something. But that's just because the collective consciousness has lost its discernment. So until it's a big conversation, the masses aren't checking for it until it becomes platformed in the mainstream. That's a problem, which is why I say they're in chaos, but at least they can take some of you all with it. From you and your lower consciousness, they will learn. They will learn how to continue to control and stay one step ahead of the people as they continue to see just how low or high you are consciously. It's a study. I mean, they ain't got no choice. This is their way of trying to maintain control because things are happening and they're trying to survive. So they need to gauge, where the collective's consciousness is, and that decision has been made a long time ago. Look, this is the lack of consciousness I was talking about because 10 years ago, people who were talking about things like this, everybody was calling them a conspiracy theorist, maybe even some of you. 10 years ago, did you all believe stuff like this was just a conspiracy theory and the people that it involved? I'll say 20 years ago, did you? Thought it was a little far-fetched, hard to believe? I was there and grown 20 years ago, so I remember. Crowning the why now of the Epstein files, lack of consciousness and controlled lack of consciousness. It's like giving you something so that you believe that you're woke, but you can't do shit with this information except talk about it. Mhm. Look, this is them giving it to you because you lack, they already know now. We can give it to you now because the people lack the consciousness. In 2018, QAnon, or whoever those anonymous people were who were saying that these people were being prosecuted by Trump because they're attached to a child X trafficking ring. That article that I just read called them conspiracy theorists. The problem was everybody was too busy attacking Trump while he was too busy going after a fruitless mission. And I'll say he didn't know it was fruitless back then. And I'll say he's not some noble character for doing this. In a sense, he is. But because save the children, it doesn't matter who saves the children, save the children. But it was fruitless because I always say that Trump needed to drain the swamp and come after anybody who was going to come after him in his presidency. And he knew where the bodies were buried. He knew. So he went after the cemetery. But that's a strong, powerful cemetery. So it didn't go anywhere. He learned back then, this is a beast that I can't even take down. Which is why I think he's saying everybody needs to get over it. And it's low-key shade to the American public that he says everybody just needs to move on. Because he knows that like these people kind of talk to y'all the way they see y'all. They have no respect for your awakening by telling you everybody just needs to move on. Probably because they know. The collective it's just, if I said that I saw these things over a decade ago, and I'm aware of all of this activity, because check my content, okay? Check my content. Check it. Go some years back and see what I've read on and uncovered. You know, and those were some of my least viewed videos. But I knew even then, this stuff is not going to be popping right now because everybody is... When they wake up, yeah, they'll give everybody else the credit. But anyways, the awakening happened, and this stuff was becoming aware of years ago, but it was squashed. It was squashed, and the internet is much more censored now than it was in 2020, because this stuff was leaking in a way that couldn't be controlled. Now they give it to you because they've disseminated it, they've figured it out, they've ironed it out, figured out that can't nothing be done about it in the greater scheme of things. So now you can have it. You can have it now because the United States government has been a tyrant into the international community. But we have just forgot about the oil grab we went on in other nations, including the failed attempts in Africa and Iran. And I'll never let y'all live that down. I'll never let y'all live that down. I will never. Iran says even if our people defend y'all, we'll get rid of them too. Just to show y'all what kind of time we on. And Nigeria said the same thing. They ain't take out any of their own people, but they said, try this if you want it. And the U.S. said, all right, I was just playing, y'all. All right, damn, man. All right, dog. Everybody else, they hijacked them and tried them. But U.S., I ain't gonna let y'all live that down, because y'all try to fail with those two. We just forgot all about that. Forgot the ICE, the shooting our citizens down. Epstein. But y'all don't care about the things that are really, really important, because this stuff has been signed, sealed, and delivered. How quickly we have forgotten how much of a tyrant we have been in the international community. And why would that not be a concern? Because 10 years from now, when disaster has fallen and it's in your face, and everybody's like, oh, it's because you guys, 10 years earlier, you guys were salivating over the Epstein files when you were 10 years late with that. You guys are always 10 years behind, and they bank on it. They've seen it. They tested it. They've tested it a few times during shutdown. They tested it. When they told y'all to shut up and stay inside, when you are your own human being and outside is for everybody, and they told y'all to shut up and stay inside, and y'all did, out of the elements. They talking about outside gonna kill you. Nature, that's healing. But you know what, Will? Being afraid, fear mongering, sitting in front of a TV or a device, watching the latest news about COVID and who's dying, being trapped inside with artificial lights, artificial air, on top of the fear mongering that you're consuming into your psyche. When that fear becomes too much because the world is falling apart, people are dying, I'm scared, you're scared. Here's TikTok though. Cope with this. Cope with this. Don't ask questions. Don't go outside and know thyself. Know that nature is healing, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not. But you guys did. And they said, "Oh, no, 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 no. Just take this. Take this medicine, this shot, and here, cope with TikTok. Don't go outside. Don't go near other people where it might have boosted our immune system enough for us to become immune to COVID a lot quicker." Nevertheless, everybody just kept their head down and did as was told. Then they checked to make sure that your consciousness was shut off. When they took away TikTok for that 24 hours, and they sat back and I sat back with them and watched the world fall apart. And I almost cried watching it because I thought they did their big one. They won. And I feel like at this point, all I can do as a medium and an oracle, more than a medium, an oracle, is focus on the people who made it. Because it saddens me when my intentions were to inspire, do my part to inspire and do my part to aid in the Great Awakening, when the Great Awakening was already happening, had already took place. And if you weren't woke, it was going to be harder for you to wake up at this point. Low consciousness. This, in my opinion, is also the controlled opposition. It's almost like they are skilled masters at managing, building, or unbuilding society. Masters at it, masters at people, masters at engineering people socially. Social engineering is what this is. And they're good at it. The muscles in his arms and legs show that he's done this. He's been at this job so long that he's got muscles. These are master builders, initiates in social engineering, skilled. And this is the general public. Look, this is the same one cup here in the ace. They gave you guys this because this person is almost like, yes, Epstein, yes, Epstein, give us Epstein, give us. That's how this is how this, it's almost like this is also the God-given consciousness, because this is upright. I mean, in reverse for the social consciousness, socially constructed consciousness. This one, though, is the God-given one. But look, this person isn't paying attention to it. They're paying attention to what happens in pop culture, the Three of Cups. Entertainment. Three of Cups is entertainment and fun with friends or like-minded individuals. So this is your sovereign discernment being ignored for the social one. My God. External to this situation, um, despite all of this, there are genuinely people who will never get the justice they deserve. These are the victims. They have to see real traumatic events that took place in their lives be used for political and media agendas. They have to build a bridge and get over it on their own. Hopes and fears. Here's the masses in reverse. Like they said, this is more of a hope than a fear. And to be honest, this is a fear too, because what if they need y'all to actually, use your God given? What if they need y'all to do it one day and you can't? So the hope and the fear is that we achieved what we needed, a dumbed down masses. But god dang, what if there's a reason that we need them to be not so sheep like, but they just can't? Nine of Cups in reverse. From the Nine of Cups from the Ten of Cups in reverse to the Nine of Cups. This situation that has real victims was used for one reason and one reason only. This man, the same red hat man who went after these people in the first place. And so they brought it up to the public to make one person look bad. That one person wasn't even Epstein. Because when they released the documents, the attention was on Trump's affiliation with it. But that's because he went after them in the first place. And to be honest, he still has ops. And this is their way of saying, let's try this. This might be our last ditch effort. But the problem is, what did y'all think the people were going to do when they're in this state? This probably could be why this is the hope and the fear, and why I said the one time they need people to be woke. This gives me the Democratic Party, and I only say that because they are the ones that really like to inflame the public and use the public. And I always wonder why they do that, because I feel like they think that it just might work one day, and it doesn't. Maybe it has in the past, but in this case it wasn't going to. And I hate that the people were inflamed and incited about this situation when there was absolutely nothing going to come of this except more trauma to the victims. Because they live in a justice system that is a cage for them. It's a part of their problem. Imagine going to the authorities about this and finding out that the authorities is going to be like, hey, we're sorry about what happened to you, but could you not talk about it? Could you shut up? We can ask you politely, or we can make you uncomfortable so that you don't talk about it publicly. Because that's what a lot of the victims said. Gang stalked, harassed, attempts on their lives, some of them unalived, allegedly. So when they don't want you to talk about it, they have ways of making sure you don't talk about it. When they want you to talk about it, they release it to the public and the masses. I'm going to read the going down. And I'll say the chaos, because as long as there are people that are in the system and believe in it, it'll never completely go down. It'll just transform into another version of a beast. Look at the people. Congress said we need to Congress said we need to continue to release them. Congress said 1, 2, 3, release them. Congress said 1, 2, 3, release them. They're all just in chaos, though. There is no order amongst the elites. Everybody is for themselves. Everybody's in survival mode. They're all trying to find a way to save the power structure, but it's slipping through their fingers. It's chaos. These people is I can't imagine all the pharmaceuticals they popping, because elites like they pharmaceuticals. Oh my God, they won't even take the juice. Straight to the face. I would say Xanax, but I'm so out of the loop. They probably on something more than Xanax. Xanax is old school. Now every soccer mom is on a Xanax, but I know they all just on every bean imaginable. Everybody in that just beaming, just rolling, eyes roll. I imagine everybody in Congress is beaming off Xanax, Percocets, and all kind of top of the notch pharmaceuticals, just eyes ablazing. Because they nerves, I feel they nerves. Ugh. These people is stressed, and a lot of them are of the biology that can't handle this type of stress as much as other people can. Child, y'all all right in there? This is them saying release them because this is like a vow of silence that even took place behind the scenes of the Justice Department. So while Trump came out and said, I'll try to do something about it as soon as I get in there, parties on both sides, parties that were on Trump's side, parties that were on Trump's side said, listen, I know we ain't always seen sides, but we just gonna agree on this one thing. On this one thing. That nigga tripping. What is he doing? What is he doing? Don't matter what side of the field you on, Democrat or Republican, both parties came to the agreement that this is a curtain, a veil, that this veil needed to stay shut. This is the Torah, the book of the law, meaning even when the person who holds the law, Trump, because nobody else was in agreement with him on this, which is why it was unsuccessful. He might have had a couple allies, but none of them were strong enough to help him on this. He was the only one holding the book of the law in his hand on this endeavor. Both sides came in agreement and said, no. But now we can talk about it. We can talk about it and the child stuff. Now, when I was thinking about doing this reading hours ago as I was having my 420 break, and I just had it in my mind because I was deciding what I was going to read on today. And you guys aren't going to know off bat why I'm going to say this, but trust me. And if you are an OG around here, then you already do. And trust that all will be revealed. And the world will give credit to the T pages and all of that. But you all will remember. When I was thinking hours ago about doing this reading, I had a suspicion. And in my mind, I saw this card. And here it is, behind the future. I saw a skit today that was posted on Tasha K's Instagram page. And people in the comments were saying it was a skit. And knowing what we know about Tiffany Haddish and her thing for skits and children, it was a video clip that Tasha K posted on her Instagram page of, what's the girl's? Tiffany Haddish. standing outside of her black, vehicle, and two young men approached her, and I guess they were attempting to kind of sell their product or something. Like he put his hand on the glass on her window, pulled out this white cloth, and showed her how easy it was to get the print out. And then another gentleman walked up, and then an exchange took place. I think he said he was the young man's dad, and she was just saying, "You're not really his dad. Are you his dad?" And then at the end of the video, she said, "Boy, get in my truck." And in my mind, because I went to the comments and people were saying this is a skit. These two gentlemen are known for doing skits and stuff like that. So that's fine. But because before I saw the comments, I was just watching the video and I said, I hope that, she's not kind of flirting with this young man because he was obviously a young man, a YN, maybe 13, 14, 15, 16, something like that. And then just this idea crossed my mind, and this is how my spidey sense works in the net when I'm not using cards. I thought, with this release of the Epstein files and them getting people more used to the idea of these things, more a little bit desensitized, so to speak, they're going to start coming out publicly with activity and testing their limits. I say that also not just because of that isolated incident, but because of the Michael Jordan incident with him allegedly groping a young man on camera. And I believe that young man's father came out and defended those actions. And when I saw that, it put me in the mind of this is something that goes on. This is something that goes on. But why they allowed us to see it, I believe, is to gauge the public's perception of these things and to see if we'll just accept it or not. Because if there is some major child trafficking ring, where are all their parents? Some of the victims that I heard spoke about being sold into these situations by their families. Some of them I've heard about going to churches and there being organized rings in their communities. I'm talking soccer moms, regular families in suburban America that are really cover for, abuse rings on children. And I believe that's why the beast wasn't allowed to fully be taken down, because it's such a big beast that its tentacles would stretch far beyond just government and entertainment, but your next door neighbor, Karen, Carmichael, the McAllisters, Pastor Dave, you know, down at Meadowfield, Christ of Prosperity Christian Church. That father literally, I don't know word for word, but he said, but I took what he says as my dream was to have my child served up to Michael Jordan. My dream was to have him chosen. That's the world we live in. Before I go on to my next subject, I watched a video last night because I like to watch interrogation videos, dash cam footage and stuff like that, trial videos. And I came across a dash cam arrest video of a young man and his girlfriend in Florida. They were white, and they found the body of both of their ex-girlfriends. So it's a white young man and his girlfriend, and they both dated a girl in the past. And her body was found decapitated, I believe, in their garage, and they live with his mom. So when the police came, because they got a tip about it, the mom was just like, "Well, what did they do?" And da 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 da. Da. And they were asking if the girl that was unalived was there, and she was like, "No, they got into an argument. She's not here. She left last night." And they went in her garage and they said, ma'am, she's in the garage. Now, when they sat that young man and his girlfriend down and interrogated them, do you know what they said? I'm going to tell you what they said. When they checked their text messages, the police were asking them about some of the text messages they exchanged. And what happened was the girlfriend did it, but they were both on some black web site, and she did it for clout, to get put on the black web, where you unalive people, you record it, and based on their text messages, you move up a rank based on how you do it and how brutal it is. You get points and you move up a rank. So they even mentioned the site. I'm finna look up the video. So here it is. Cops, this is on Law and Crime Network. Cops find decapitated girl in garage, body cam. Santa Fe cops discovered Grace Jennings dead and nearly decapitated in a garage days before Halloween. Hold on, I'm just gonna play a piece of it when they talk about the the black web, the black market activity.
It's 2 days before Halloween.
Nope, I'm just gonna fast forward. Okay.
From beyond here, leave. That all I have to do is be over there at my fam's place and call the cops.
They're reading his text messages.
Morning. So you go back to the garage and hanging, and I'm like, you see someone dead. Who is that someone? Grace. When his initial story starts to quickly fall apart. A second, this is your fiance saying this? What? Yes. Hey, I have a plan with what I said. All I have to do is be over there at my fam's place and call the cops.
Hold on.
It was something that happened in my family's house with the storage. Mm-hmm. Okay, plan B. Just tell her she needs to leave.
Okay, this was them talking about setting her up to get her there.
Unless I ask your mom to give me a ride to Target and you do what is needed. Use the message back and forth. Isaac, this is getting really weird, man. Okay. Okay, what are you talking about? From beyond here, I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on? But these are messages from you? Or what would you like me to do? It's her go-to thing to tell me to leave. And it's like, she kicks me out, and then a few days later, she's like, come back over. Why don't you pop off my little firecracker? What would you like me to do? Stab her? I don't know. I don't have the energy to do shit. Unless I ask your mom to give me a ride to Target and you do what is needed. What do you mean you do what is needed? I have no clue. From this on, from beyond here, I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on?
Oh no, this ain't even the part I need y'all to hear. I'm trying not to miss it.
I do have another cell phone. Okay, what are you talking about? I don't know. That's not me. That's not you? That's not me. Who is it? That's... I don't know, man. These messages look a lot like there's some conspiring going on, some planning going on. Do you want to start over? Because yes, right? I am being truthful, but she came up and she said that over the phone, on a phone call. Okay. So you know what I mean. Platypus? Is that what you're saying? Platypus? Yeah. Rawr. She says, get the conversation rolling, dude. I'm not feeling nice. Dagger because it's blunt? What does that mean? Stab the throat? Is that what she's trying to say? The thought. Just gonna stab the thought. Yes. Instant, or will it take long? What does she mean? Instant. What do we do?
So she's asking him for advice on how to do it, because apparently he's done it before.
What mess? I was talking to her and... What mess? She was talking about She said was gonna stab the thought, and I thought. What about the mess? What mess? In the bed. My favorite fuzzy blanket is here. I know. Just intense wash tomorrow. Hydrogen peroxide and ice. Washer will get it out. Yes. Can you help this time? Yes. I am just waiting for you to make the first move. So she pooped herself last night? Yes. And did you guys wash the sheets? No. I'll be a you when I kissed you. Yeah.
Text messages before the detective discovers even more disturbing details.
Remember, you'll move up the ranks, plus you get perks in the black market since this is your first. Your first what?
You'll move up the ranks in the black market since this is your first.
Tell me what happened, for real. Can we stop making up lies about these messages? What the hell happened last night? She was messaging me on planning on how to kill her, and... Who was messaging you planning on how to kill who? Kiara. Kiara was messaging you on planning how to kill... Grace. Grace? Yes. And what were you doing? I was only sending a message back.
This is on Law and Crime Network. It's called Cops Find Decapitated Girl in Garage. And this is body cam.
What else did this mean? Remember, you'll move up in the ranks, plus you get perks in the black market since this is your first? What else would you be talking about here? I was trying to talk about something else because I'm trying to get my mind off.
They not trying to talk about. He not trying. They not gonna give up that black market stuff.
Yes. And I'm not. How do I aim? How do I aim right? Just aim. Well, tell me what you're talking about there. That's Call of Duty. That's Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. Tell me when. Okay, I'll give a count. 6, 5. I can't yet, dude. 4. I'm shaking, dude. I know. I lose the nervous. Help me drive it through. Help me drive it through? What do you mean, help me drive it through?
Hold on, it gets worse.
She was asking me to do... To stab her? Yes. I'm going to pretend to sleep so it looks non-conspicuous. Ooh. Tell me about all that.
I might skip his and go to the girl.
This phone right here would have been... Report and submitted to the black market heads.
Oh.
What is this?
Oh.
Written by Kiara.
Listen.
And what? Oh, these aren't your messages either. Those are not my messages, because... Also, if you can't do it, I'll have them do it, and it will still count as your first. I'll just rewrite the report and submit it to the black market heads.
Rewrite the report?
You're going to write to the black market heads?
And send it to the black market heads?
Don't tell me this isn't you messaging. I know this is you messaging.
Oh, wait.
Be transparent and tell me what's going on here.
If you can't do it, hold on. If you can't do it, I'll just rewrite the report and resubmit it to the black market heads. Look, this is an investigation. This isn't a movie.
It was something I have been writing down, and I'm trying to leave.
And he's saying a bunch of nothing right now.
I'm trying to leave behind. Tell me more about that. They needed a report, and when I said this was your first on the report, it was still counted as your first. I was telling her, because as I was texting it out, she came and talked to me. Just stop. Zira? What's Zira?
That's the site.
Oh, Zira's the name of the sword? Yes. And
Oh,
then
no,
you say,
the
and
sword.
deposit your Bitcoin in your crypto wallet.
Bitcoin is how they pay.
Payment? Some kind of payment? Bitcoin, crypto wallet? Just to get her to shut up. Well, what you say here is, I am saying just swing and don't regret the aim. So tell me what that means.
Okay. Yeah. Bitcoin in your wallet, because that's how they do it. Anyways, none of that is new to me. But those were things that, I wanted to bring to you guys' attention, because that is why somebody asked me, will people ever go down for this? Not in this go around, what like they're making you guys think, because listen, they haven't even scratched the surface of the underworld, the underbelly of the beast, not even by the documents that they let y'all see. And that's why I said it's already too late. If things like this are is investigative material to you now, like you're just going down this rabbit hole and they're banking on, and now it's controlled. So the conclusion of this video was they both went to prison for the unaliving, but there was no follow-up about those things that were mentioned. And I'm sure there isn't going to be any public follow-up. Most of the time, they keep those things quiet when they come up in cases to the public. Rather they sit on them, rather some of them try to move it up the ranks and it kind of just sits somewhere. I think eventually, no matter where it goes up the ranks, it will find a corner to be pushed into, because the web is just so much more bigger. And I don't think that I don't think they would ever. Now, what I was saying about this card is because in my mind, I thought they are going to start testing the consciousness about how they feel about these things, and they're going to start doing things in the public. That Tiffany Haddish skit, if it was a skit, I wouldn't have known until I looked in the comments. And she's the perfect person, in my opinion, to use, in these test runs because she's done it before. And I've already read her making those films with those children and the allegations against her and the court case and all of that stuff. We've done that here. I didn't sweep it under the rug like everybody else did. I sure did not. I sure did not. I sure did not. Just like I didn't sweep this stuff under the rug. We've been dissected it and drawn all types of conclusions. And it just saddens me that when it becomes a thing, it becomes a thing because it was given to the public to be a thing. That's what saddens me the most. It disheartens me. Not saddens me, but disheartens me. Let me just pull one card before I move on to the Cardi B robot thing, because there's a reason that I'm talking about that other than her taking a tumble with the robot. Spirit, why was the Michael Jordan fondling of the little boy, why did that become a thing in the media? One card to start, please. I just want to see if my theory is right. Because who's to say that's just not what goes on at these events and other elite events that we don't have access to? A lot of things are done in broad view. Think about scouts and how that was used. Think about how churches and Catholic churches are used. Think about daycare centers and think about the various child protective services and the abuse allegations that come out of those situations. I mean, if you really think about it, there are a lot of places and opportunity and a lot of adults, legal guardians, and parents who are just as messed up as these people that you think are only into this stuff because they're rich and famous. Why was that Michael Jordan situation platform the way it was? The Chariot. This is a Cancer card. Well, somebody was trying to, I feel like one party was trying to expose it, but then his dad came up and was like, no, it was nothing. So I do think that somebody was low-key trying to expose on the topic of child abuse. I think somebody else was trying to expose another facet of it, another way that it's embedded or ingrained into a shadow society. I think somebody was trying to expose that even at those functions in the open, all the adults there, or the majority of the adults there, are trained or programmed to turn a blind eye because they all just know it's a thing. So somebody was trying to expose it. I don't know who put it out there, but this person has seen a many thing. They know of other people in the vein of all this exposing people attached to child abuse. Whoever recorded this, I won't say who put it out, but at least whoever recorded it did so because they probably attend a lot of events like this where this behavior is normal. Where if certain children are brought there, they're brought there because business is taking place in the public setting. And not everybody is just some random kid with their dad at an event trying to meet Michael Jordan. That's just the cover of it. Not saying this, but I'm saying this is the situation that I think the person was trying to expose. That not everybody you see at a game, at a celebrity game, where you see a kid shaking hand with an athlete in a locker room and their dad or mom is standing in a corner gushing. You know, not all of them are just random fans living their dream. You know, sometimes when the cameras go off and the media goes away, it turns into a whole nother function. But you need the good PR. So I think the person that recorded it did so because this might not be the first event that they've attended where they've seen alleged possible criminal activity take place. And I think in the vein of exposing powerful people and trying to take them down when it's safer to. Because this person has probably been in all the mix, probably has a lot of tea, but has remained quiet. Because the people who were the alleged criminals were probably above them in power. And if they fell on the person, they could do them some damage. So it was wise to stay quiet, but always be mindful of an opportunity. And the opportunity is the current environment. It's safe. It's safer to expose that type of event now that we're letting the cat out of the bag. So this person is saying, like, at this event with these people, it's what they be doing too. It ain't just over there on the island. It's right up under your nose. It's like the tower has already been struck. The collective consciousness has already been made aware of this activity. Some people have already been publicly tied to it. So again, this is a person who's been quiet but observant of this activity before. And now it's not as much of a threat to expose it. Unfortunately, though, the only person who could really take this somewhere, the child's father, has came to the aid of the situation. Because he's not just a random person there. They're all in on whatever this structure is. I think what got exposed is a child abuse situation that's hidden in plain sight. Spirit, was the father being a genuine protective father of his little boy? Even when he came out and said the public was just trying to ruin a great moment for him, a monumental moment, was he being genuine when he said nothing funny was going on with Michael Jordan and his boy? One card. Was he being genuine? I would hope to see nothing else but the Emperor. Maybe the King of Swords. The Lovers. Wow. Not a father. Now, this would be a father or some sort of guardian overlooking a hookup. The boy didn't look like he was scratching something. We didn't see the start of the video with him trying to scratch and not being able to get it. And Michael Jackson was not scratching. I mean, Michael Jordan was not scratching him. I watched it. That looked like a, hey, gotcha, 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 gotcha. Ha ha, my boy, gotcha. Why is the lovers there when I asked if this father was being genuine and protective of his son? He was overseeing something. He was the guardian of a situation, overseeing a hookup, in my opinion. That's what this means, in my opinion. Nothing more than my opinion. Offering of a child. Here you go. Here's my kid. And whoever recorded that wanted us to see that. They wanted us to see that children get offered up to these people all the time, right in your face. And it ain't just on the island over there. Look, here it is again, from the bottom to the top. The lovers in a car with a child on it, but two naked adults and a person overseeing it. The guardian angel, the child's guardian. At this event, in my opinion, a lot of people, maybe not all people, but key people come there in order to do unsavory activities, and this is a part of a ring. International ring. Children and a ring. The world, meaning international. Ring, child. The lovers. Somebody was trying to tie even Mr. Michael into the situation. But these aren't false allegations. Look at this. The world, meaning international. This is always my trafficking card when I read trafficking, and go back and watch some of my other trafficking related videos. You will hear me say that about this. The world, child, the lovers. One more. It goes on in plain sight, and most people are mostly unaware, and this will be blown over too. But in my opinion, that boy is a victim. And look at this, being overlooked and ignored once his dad comes out and offers his, because the dad, look, he doesn't care about people giving their input. He was there for that reason. He's a part of these people. That wasn't just a regular man. Three of Cups, Three of Swords. Wasn't just a regular dad. I told y'all, they look like everyday people. It doesn't just stop at the celebrity world and the political people. Mr. Dave taking his son to a game to meet a whole bunch of wealthy people. And we just so happen to see one scratching him on his lower hind parts. Nevertheless, all right, well, moving along. You guys okay? Y'all good? That was heavy, wasn't it? But one has to go there because I started out by asking, why are they letting you guys know now? And it's because you guys are too far behind. Not you guys. I just say you guys, meaning the public. Too far behind on trying to be hip to certain things. The control, the system is almost so, locked that if it goes down, you guys are going to go down. Meaning once you see these things taking place, for some, you won't want to believe it. Cognitive dissonance. You won't want to believe it. You will look for reasons for it not to be what it is. And when one is given to you, you will accept it. You will ignore it like a lot of my elders do. For instance, my mother today, and I only say this to show just how their generation was so used to overlooking things, and now that they've become older, when it comes to a revolution In my opinion, most of them are useless. My mom was on Instagram and just scrolling through because she ain't got shit else to do. And somebody came out, or somebody, she scrolled across the video, a reel of somebody giving commentary on Tyler Perry and the content that he continuously plays. They say he always shows black women in trauma or struggle situations, and they were talking about his allegations and things like that against him. And my mother was like, when the lady said all he does is show black people, black women in a struggle or trauma position. Now that's something that a lot of black women have says, and he does. He's trying to get better by making, whatever. He's trying to get better and switch their trauma from the old trauma it used to be. But it's kind of true. I agree. I kind of always have agreed. But she was like, they just on here wanting to say something. And then when they was talking about the allegations against him, she quickly scrolled, child, whatever. They just hating. I was like, Ma, how that man don't give you gay? I'm just saying, like, how does he not give you gay though? But y'all the same generations that overlook sexual abuse in the family and at your church. Because remember the time I told y'all about the incident at my mom's church? And I showed y'all the YouTube video of that too. My mama church and the boy and the abuse, and my mama's pastor tried to cover it up and not help the police. She tried to cover up the person, and they had it on camera. They had some of the abuse on camera. My mama pastor tried to obstruct the investigation. And my cousin stopped going to that church when she saw that because she was like, I will never take my kids there again. But and quite a few people did leave. My mama said quite a few people did leave, but my mama didn't. And she still, anyways, but like stuff like that. My mom's best friend husband is on the registry. He go to that church too. Hmm. She had a lot of best friends in her life, and I like her having a good Judy, a home girl. But the lady's husband also is on the registry because he got accused and convicted a long time ago. And they all go to the same church, child. Just be blind eyeing everything. Allegations be right in their face. Charges be filed. And the Lord can forgive. Child, what kind of forgiveness takes away your sexual urges? Kind of forgiveness is that? Anyways, I ain't ashamed to call out my own people because I don't condone that bull. And it needs to be called out from the rooter to the toot, even if it hurts my feelings. So I wanted to, I have that picture of that humanoid robot because when I saw the article about China celebrating their Lunar New Year in a celebration with humanoid robots, as they called them. And when I first saw it, I instantly thought about the Cardi B doing a striptease on one. And I thought, which entity, corporation or whatever, sent her a bag to do that, to kind of give a soft launch of PR and promo for their new robots. So this isn't so much about Cardi B as much in her falling as much as it is me wanting to know why they are getting ready, or if they're getting ready to start pushing the PR for these robots onto the mainstream. China robots. China Robot Show 2026. Beijing International Robot Exhibition. Oh no. 15 hours ago. This is on Al Jazeera. Humanoid robots perform advanced martial arts at Chinese New Year Gala. China's annual gala on Lunar New Year's Eve has showcased Beijing's giant leap in technology as humanoid. Human. First of all, we know what human means. Let's see what oid means, the etymology behind that. Forming adjectives and nouns denoting form or resemblance. An original issue discount. That's what OID, original issue discount, I guess, in finance. But forming adjectives and nouns denoting form or resemblance. Forming adjectives and nouns denoting an animal belonging to a higher taxon with a name ending in oidia. That's oid meaning. Let me look up etymology. It's Greek and it means it's related to form. So we can say in the form of a human is what humanoid means. And I'm big on breaking down meaning of words because everybody says words have power because you guys have heard people say that for time and time and time, but nobody ever makes you think about how or why they do. Firstly, because saying them carries a vibration in order to put something into formation or action. But knowing the definition of words helps you understand why that word is being used in the first place. It's called legalese. So, in the form of a human is what humanoid means. All right, China's annual gala on Lunar New Year's Eve has showcased Beijing's giant leap in technology as humanoid, human like robots took center stage to perform a joint martial arts routine featuring several firsts. Do you guys wonder, just curious, why they call them humanoid robots and not just robots? Why they want them to be in the form of humans? Before I continue, let me remind you, because if you're new around here, then you're already late to the Great Awakening, to the wake. But everybody else remembers this Bill Gates quote that I've quoted twice here, maybe three times, and did a whole live on it. Bill Gates quote about obsolete humans. Because I'm going to clock it every time. This is from CNBC. Bill Gates speaks during an event promoting the Netflix docuseries What's Next? The Future with Bill Gates. You guys feel safe with Bill Gates as your future leader with the future in his hands? This took place in New York City on September 26, 2024. Over the next decade, advances in artificial intelligence will mean that humans will no longer be needed for most things in the world, says Bill Gates. Remember what he said, except for entertainment, making them laugh, making the elites laugh? That's what the Microsoft co founder and billionaire philanthropist told comedian Jimmy Fallon during an interview on NBC's The Tonight Show in February. At the moment, expertise remains rare, Gates explained, pointing to human specialists we still rely on in many fields, including a great doctor or a great teacher. So, a robot could be a doctor and a teacher, but we still rely on humans to be great doctors and great teachers. They haven't perfected the humanoid robot. But, Bill Gates says, with AI, over the next decade, that will become free and commonplace. Great medical advice, great tutoring, meaning you won't need humans to excel at anything anymore because their technology will have replaced you in intelligence. Yep. In other words, the world is entering a new era of what Gates called free intelligence because God didn't give a consciousness, a soul to every humanoid. Everybody that looks like a human ain't got a soul. Therefore, they can become intelligent, but not conscious. They cannot evolve into the Godhead if they don't descend from one. So they become smart. They become intelligent leaders in study because that's all they can do is study nature and people and make theories about things, but never have any understanding, any wisdom. Because we not the same. They not like us. So they don't want evolutionary consciousness to just be confined to certain people. They want to be able to access it for themselves. So through their technologies, you guys have imparted, I said this several times, you all have been imparting your consciousness into the technology that's become AI, artificial intelligence. It's artificial because it had to learn it from you. And what else have I said? Humans have become less smart, less educated, less naturally smart, less common sense, less cognitive abilities. We got adults out here that I have to engage with that cannot spell. And it's okay because social media, it's okay if you can't spell. You know what I said. That's what they say. You know what I said. You know what I meant. I'm going to say because I grew up in the old world, no, the fuck I do not some of the time. And if I really point out that, hey, you were trying to say this, but it's because, bitch, when I tried to compute what you said, my wires got crossed. It's okay now to be dumb because everybody's dumb. And why do you need to do all of that studying and brain work when you can just pull up Google or ask the internet, the artificial intelligence to give you back your intelligence to you. I got out of HR just in time because I would have been popping Xanax Molly pills like the elites. If I still had to be hiring people in this world, if I had to go on y'all social media, which I did, and give y'all jobs, and y'all wonder why can't nobody get hired, check your social media. Fun fact from an HR lady. I'm telling you, it ain't just your content, your pictures. How did you spell that whole paragraph that you wrote? Like, look at all of those run on sentences, no commas, no periods. That's not spelled right. You and it's not something that we can tell that you're trying to do to be hip. This is how you talk. We cannot have you sending company emails and you accidentally slip up and type it how you type that shit. And it's no shade, but Humans, once we get used to something, it becomes habit. So you gonna slip up in a company email and talk in in your uncorporate, and no, hell no, hell no, hell no. So I brought that up and what Bill Gates said about humans becoming obsolete because of the humanoid robots that China just featured. And before we saw them feature them, we kind of got a buffer in our minds and our consciousness because they'll plant the seed first and then roll it out so that you're able to receive something a little bit outlandish or new to your consciousness if they subtly plant it there by using celebrities, which are just high paid influencers, to market and advertise products before they roll it out. Like, what else reason would Cardi B be coming out of a hotel in the middle of a random day and doing a sexy striptease stand up lap dance on a robot, other than for marketing and advertisement? Do you know how much psychology education goes into marketing and advertising so they know how to get you to buy into a product or an idea? People spend good money to figure out how your mind works so they know how to work it. Hmm. 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 The only thing I have to say about Cardi B is Cardi B, whether you are still a Santaria or whether you have been saved, sanctified, and filled by the new God, Jesus, and yeah, anyways, you have been given omens. You guys just think everything is random, a random occurrence, but no, that falling and that robot falling on you, I don't want to say what I really want to say is, but what I really want to say is stop disappointing your ancestors, but I won't say that. That's what I really wanted to say, but I'll say Cardi B, please hold on to the last grip of your soul because it's flying away like a kite, and I just need you to grab onto that string before it flies away because you still can. But I see what you're doing here. I called it out before too. I called it out when you released that album. And I said, what did you do to yourself to save yourself and your career? You were desperate and you went ahead and went to the other side. And I'm not even saying this to be funny. I'm saying this because I see a soul that is slowly getting out of the grasp of the person who's supposed to house it because of the things that they do in order to not fall off. That thing falling on you, I take it as a spiritualist. I take that as a sign because they are promoting these humanoid robots as replacements to human, which is why it fell on top of you, which is why it fell in a position of dominance over you, because that is the intent, the energy behind marketing these to get us prepared with seeing them in everyday casual settings and not thinking it's weird because Cardi B did a striptease with one. And it was funny. I saw that as an omen, as a sign. Your ancestors are saying, how dare you? Like, well, you've been trying it, but how dare you promote the war on humans? Like, it's a spiritual battle going on. So I wanted to look into the actual China, and I kind of wanted to see if Cardi B was advertising or promoting these this robot when she danced with it, because what other reason would would she do that? Was Are robots a part of her tour? Is there a robot theme? Does she engage with robots on her tour? When she rolled out her album that she's touring for, were there robots or crows? I'm confusion. So there was no other reason other to do that other than somebody saying, "Hey, Cardi B, we will, we want to pay you to do X, Y, and Z." And sure, I'll do it. That's a quick bag. All right. I could be being, a conspiracy theorist right now. So that's why I'm doing the reading to see, to ask. Spirit, what was the energy surrounding Cardi B dancing with that robot? Why did she do it? Was it just something fun to get attention for herself and her tour? Was it a job to promote that robot? Why did she come out dancing and gyrating on that robot that then mounted her? And does that tie in to the push for humanoid robots over human beings? This is the robot falling on her ass. And this is your ancestors pushing it over on top of you. Your ancestors sitting there sucking their teeth. Bitch, yeeted that thing right over on you. They wanted you to know just how silly they thought you looked doing that. First and foremost, your ancestors said, flick it over, push it over on her. You out here stripper dancing on a robot. How much more degrading? And your womb is still healing from your fourth child, and you're stripper gyrating on a humanoid robot. I'm sorry, but what are you doing? Your ancestor said, knock it over. Since you want to gyrate on something. I think a businessman or a business entity put her up to it. It doesn't look like it might be one company, or this company could have be a conglomerate. Definitely an agenda. This is from the entrepreneurial business world. So it was probably a business entity that wanted her to do that. Look at our new techie robot that we're getting ready to launch. But your ancestors don't like it. They didn't like it. Challenging, Queen of Wands, is the fact that you had to go out there and stripper dance on it. That's a challenge to your ancestors, which is why it failed. But also, in my opinion, you were hired to do a job, a business job. This is an entrepreneurial job. So it's not like you're an employee of the company. You're a influencer, somebody who has the ability to influence. So that makes you a businesswoman if you want to, take a bag or a check from this company who just wants you to dance or take a picture with one of their products. The problem is, though, that's in your challenging position. So what you're selling yourself for has a sinister agenda to it. And also because your ancestors was sitting there. Like, what is this? I'm sorry, but I keep getting her ancestors just... And that's a bigger problem than anything else that you could have on your plate, is if your ancestors are upset with you. And I saw that old picture of the money altar that you had in your house for your ancestors. So you don't actively engage with the spirit world and then switch sides on them and then think they just be like, oh, okay, they're not humans anymore. They don't have that meter within. No, 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 no. You get touched. You get touched. Even if it's just a love tap, it's still a touch. I think Cardi B has had some issues in the recent past with her body because she's had a lot of work done, which is why this comes up to me as issues with her body. I think that the pregnancy, as this is her fourth in or her second in a very short span of time, and all of her children are under, I don't know if her daughter is 8 yet, so they're at least under 10, and the last two aren't even 2 years apart. In between pregnancies, she's been getting surgeries and cosmetic work done to her body, and I think she's been having challenges with it. I think it's been throwing her equilibrium off, hence the falling. I think her body issues have been throwing her equilibrium off. I'll say that. And I do know that she just mentioned after her tour she was going to get some of her butt taken out. I think you should because it's throwing you off. Your frame isn't built for that. It's too heavy for your body to hold up. And adding that baby weight to it, it's getting out of control, meaning out of your control. There's definitely marketing and an agenda being pushed with the magician. The magician rules advertising and marketing. So in the near future, there will be a further marketing PR agenda push with these humanoid robots. Not just in China, we'll see them start to be pushed more in the States at IT conferences. That's already a thing of the past. They've already been, prototyped at IT conferences, investor conferences, and stuff. So they're already in on it because that's the money behind them, the investment world behind them, and the people that are going to roll them out to society. But once they start marketing and advertising them, the product is on the way. There's a coming release of these products, and seeing them at the China Lunar New Year, that was a statement and ceremonial as well. To feature them on the Lunar New Year, it's almost a declaration to nature that we will celebrate the coming reign of our own race, our own controllable, fully controllable race. They might get some pushback. I don't know if this is Trump, whoever this air sign is, whoever this air sign is, they may or may not. I think they may give a little bit of pushback, and it not because may not be because they don't agree. It could be because they're not in on something. This could be Trump if we're talking about China trying to push their new project, then they could have some issues with Trump, at least here in the US. The reason for these humanoid robots is that the human, which is why it's a court card, the human has declined in consciousness because they have asked for it and the humans answered and gave willingly through various forms of social media and socially constructed experiments. The humans have seen everything as entertainment, fun, or a joke when it was not. So when they asked for your consciousness, the human gave it, so much so that they've drained you and put it into their computers and their data centers and their robots, And now they don't see you as valuable anymore because you willingly gave. You willingly gave. And the problem is, this isn't a sword, it's a cup. So it isn't just ideas and consciousness. There's spirit and soul attached to consciousness. Morality has declined. People are more desensitized to things now because of this. The decline in consciousness and spirit, soul, so to speak. So they can roll out the Epstein files and then start putting things in the media that are nasty, because all we do is talk about them. All people do is get on their platforms. It's in the rumor mill for weeks, months at best. But what action? What action comes out of giving this information to the general public? Other than keeping them chattering like Twitter, just tweet, 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 tweeting, Tweety birds, wanting more, but not knowing what to do with the information that you guys want more of. You guys want all of this stuff to be exposed, but you haven't the slightest idea of how to alchemize it into tangible change, which puts you in this situation. They see you as obsolete. Judgment in reverse, external to their humanoid agenda, are people trying to alert the humans. They're divine messengers. But look, humans are obsolete. That's why the bodies on the humans are gray. They're saying they don't need you anymore. The message has been sent. For some of you guys, me reading Bill Gates quotes from 2024 on humans becoming obsolete within the next 10 years is new. And that's sad. That's a problem. Just like I said in the other reading, that's a problem. You guys are late, dangerously late. The bodies are gray because the general public is dead, soulless, which is why they're in graves and they're grayed out. The soul is gone. The consciousness is gone. And now there's zombies. Whatever we say, whatever message we put out, that's what they all move to. That's what they all talk about. Whatever we put out gives them life. They feel awakened when we give them old information. But their bodies are still gray and they're still in graves, even if they stand up. That's unfortunate for your boyfriend, because I've seen the future for myself and it don't look as bleak as the future that I'm pronouncing on some of you. My present is fine. It mean my future gonna be great, as well as my busted babies. How many of y'all, despite all this stuff going in the world, my OGs in here, how many of y'all all right? And how many of y'all ain't worried? Because you got good reason not to be worried. I'll go first. Me. Hopes and fears. Death in reversed. You know what I smell? You know what part Bill Gates has to play in this? Offing the humans through his various methods of pharmaceutical control. This should not be new to any of my OGs. The hopes and fears is population control, and not just saying population control just to keep it at a certain number. No, 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 no. They want to significantly wipe out the obsolete humans, and they consider the masses obsolete. So, through various means of poison and sabotage, people will kill themselves. You know the saying, my people perish from lack of knowledge? I don't think anything is more truer than that. And I think even the perishing is very real. I don't think that was a symbol of anything or a parable. Imagine your lifespan be cutting short because you don't want to sacrifice money for your diet. I know things are hard, Dina, and the prices are high. We can't afford it. What if I said you could still grow your own food? Yeah, but I live in the city. I don't have the time. I have to go to work. What if I said, okay, those were viable options? Other than that, Bill Gates bought up 270,000 acres worth of farmland in the US between, what was it, guys, 2018, 2016, and 2022. You know what else he does? Manufactures cheese and eggs in his new fake egg manufacturing plant in near Flint, Michigan. So the goal was to take away the natural food and replace it with his fake food. And if he owns 270,000 acres worth of farmland, where are you if you do decide? If you do decide to make the necessary sacrifices, F it. I'm going to just get a farm and I'm going to try to combat the cause. He owned a whole lot of it. So it's scarce. So it's easier to go into Walmart or the grocery store, the major chain grocery store, and get food. And 80% of that, I'll say 75 to 80% of that today, is going to kill you slowly. It might be more costly to get your meat straight from the butcher, go down to the farmer's market, or grow your food. You may have to invest money or time, but what if that's what you just got to do to save your life? How bad do you want to save your life? I get all the constraints. That's why you're late to the awakening party. Because now that you want to awaken, it's more difficult to change your lifestyle. If you've been awakened, your lifestyle is already changed and you don't really have anything to change. It's just a continuation and getting around the challenges of scarcity and stuff like that. But most of us already have the habits ingrained in our lifestyle to survive times as these. Medicine, natural medicine, and holistic practitioners are on the rise higher than any time in history since the days of our ancestors, our Black ancestors here. Yet we struggle with people who don't prefer the easy fix of pharmaceuticals over, and I won't even say the easy fix because it's not really an easy fix if you have to continue to take it and never be healed. But people are not as inclined to being as consistent and dedicated if they tell you to eat this and drink this for the next 6 months and you could be healed. It's easier if your doctor tells you, we can't heal you, but we can give you this pill to treat it. And we also have to give you this pill because the side effect is going to give you gout and blindness, but you won't sneeze. Cancer is on the rise. What happened to AIDS? Now it's cancer. It's like they just manufacture these things, and based on the time that we're in, that's the one that you get. You know, Bill Gates is trying to roll out a sterilization program in the motherland. And some of their governments are saying, no, we won't allow this new form of birth control because it's sterilization. Meanwhile, Africa's birth rates are booming. And Bill Gates wants to go and roll out his new sterilizing birth control. Listen, so the hope and the fear is death. death that it doesn't come to them while they're poisoning everything. The con to that is you expose yourself to the same poisons. So the hope is that they don't die from the same things that they're trying to use to make you expire. You're welcome. The outcome as it relates to these humanoid robots, you know, nothing that nothing that man makes will ever permanently replace nature. It's called false gods. It's called the anti God. Anything that goes against natural order and natural creation is the only thing that you guys should be looking for in an anti Christ. An anti God is anything that goes against nature. And y'all support the antichrist already. Look at y'all. Oh, Cardi. And she up there doing the devil's work according to y'all. Because that's marketing and PR for the replacement of natural human beings. The outcome for these robots is no matter how much you guys try to make fetch a thing, each and every last one of your innovations that is meant to replace one of the sectors of nature will fail. It doesn't matter how many improvements they have in the near future. The outcome, the total outcome of you all's endeavor to overthrow the creator and the creative order of things will fail. You got that? Spend your money on, because you have not that much to look forward to after this. So that's why you guys don't mind amassing and spending billions, searching high and low. All the world's greatest minds to help you find a way to overcome natural order. Here's one of the world's greatest minds. You can't do it. There you go. And you didn't even have to pay me $1 billion for that. They will fail. Even with their near future advancements and innovations, the outcome will be that they will fail at what they're meant to do. As a matter of fact, I think that what you guys aren't telling or talking about as you try to push this is you guys have had some very scary um, cons with these new robots. You know those movies that they've been rolling out recently that show the robots that the families buy to help them some way in their home kind of take over? I think that's what you guys have been experiencing for real, and I think the movies are your realities. I think that you guys will not talk about publicly because of the money that you guys would lose, the lawsuits that you would lose for the people who have already bought into these things or plan to, about the very scary and dangerous and concerning issues that these humanoid robots show when you get them alone with you in your home, the prototypes and the rich people who get the chance to spend their money and get their hands on advanced models of these. You'll never discuss how the movies are reality and how they really be tweaking out, because there's a lot of money and agenda involved in pushing these things. And you guys really don't need them to work forever. You guys just need the people to continue to buy into the world and the false ass reality and the agenda that you give them long enough for you to kill them off. Keep you distracted long enough for them to kill you off. Because if you're distracted about everything that's going on in the world that doesn't matter, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention to how you can change your own personal lifestyle. If me saying, what if you have to grow your own food, or what if you need to grow your own food, resulted in a yeah, but, that's what I'm talking about. Because a yeah, but should never exist to someone still attached to their God source. Because the Creator is speaking, and it's telling us how to survive. If you're not tapped in, that means if you're scared or you're anxious, that means you're not tapped in. And if you're not willing to put yourself and your own human biology as a priority, you're absolutely already a sheep. You're a sheep. That's I'm trying to tap dance around it, but you need to hear it just as vulgar as that, because the mainstream media wants you to believe that you're woke and that you are causing the elites a problem by you being awoke and aware, when they're giving you the information that they want you to think you're coming into some form of divine inspiration about. The only what it would look like when you really wake up is when you check out. Absolutely. Check out of all of it. When you're not caught up in none of it. When you are living as off the grid as you can and focused on yourself and how you can live the best life despite what's going on around you. That's when you're awoke. That's how you become the change that you want to see. It would take every one of you all to do that for the world to change. But as long as you guys are caught up in the, oh, this is so cool, then you're distracted by how you're being replaced, and you're not focused on your own well-being, because everything, almost everything that we require to live has been poisoned. Food, water, fun drinks. I should be drinking a fresh juice, not this. So I ain't perfect. Moderation for me though, because I live clean. And this has been in my car for 2 months. I should be, and I have a juicer and I use it. This is convenience. But this is what I'm talking about. It's in our food, it's in our drink, it's in the air. They'll put organic on a label of some food, and it's the same organic hybrid non-nutrient food, you know, that doesn't come from the earth. My nieces and nephews, we took them to the farmer's market and got them some fruit, and they almost wouldn't eat the fruit because it wasn't polished and almost shiny with no seeds. Everything had seeds, and it had some bumps, bruises, and dents in it. But we were telling them that's because it's real. You're used to seeing something that's been perfected with chemicals and polish and airbrush and a filter and sugars and stuff like that. This is what it's supposed to look like when it's fresh off the plant. Now they can't get enough. And that's because eating the real food shows up differently in the body. Now they don't have to look at it to know it's good. They crave it because there's a different chemical situation going on in their body now that we've introduced them to pure food. We didn't have to teach them the change. Once they ate it, and I even watched their energy, the way they change after. They weren't as hyper, but they were energized. It wasn't a sugary processed food hyper. It was pure energy. And so the hope, and even if, like I mentioned, even if they know that they'll never overthrow nature, because they do know that, and maybe some of them don't. In the meantime, they would like to get as many of you off the planet as possible. Less risk of a real spiritual awakening that they can't control. And I'm telling you guys, you think spirituality is just a side quest, but call it science if you like. Call it manifestation if you like. In regards to their humanoid projects, they'll never overthrow humans, but there are multiple attempts and attacks on mankind, on humanity. There are multiple crimes against humanity, in my opinion, taking place parallel to each other right now. And current history, in my opinion, has never not experienced a crime against its humanity. So that's what I got from their humanoid situation, but they're going to roll it out. They're going to try it. You know, they got all this new technology that they're creating. And for a time, they'll have their day. They'll have their day of conquering with their technology and their business. But the outcome, let me just clarify that and then I'll go for tonight. Members, both sets, both tiers of members, both gold and diamond and inner quartz. We will have our lives tomorrow. So I won't do any public live tomorrow. I will do my members' lives tomorrow because I'm hungry. Three of Pentacles in reverse. The soul, the psyche, the soul on the bottom. And that's at the end of the day. Three of Pentacles in reverse. Their creations won't work because humans with souls will always exist. And they will multiply. Cute attempt. There will be some that'll be lost to the cause, meaning your consciousness is already sucked up in artificial intelligence brought to you by the World Wide Web. Consider you guys in a battle. And if you don't know that you're in a battle for your humanity, you are. And right now, they got y'all in a chokehold. Almost neck and neck in this battle. They will force it on you. These are tech and business entities, you know, rich billionaires that invest or own tech companies and stuff like that. They're the ones that are leading the charge as they are either funding or creating the technology that is being used on this attack against, I'll say, the creative force itself. By force. So you guys think you want this stuff, but like I just said, there's billions invested in psychology when it comes to marketing and advertising. So much of what you think you've been gifted with, you're being forced on. And much of who you think you are and how you're shaped today and your ideas and perspectives in the world around you is shaped, it's actually been forced on you. And since I don't like to leave with bad news, Spirit, if there's anyone here who has heard my voice tonight and finds themselves on the side of this conversation that has been used and abused and treated as sheep, if they were to say, you know what, I don't want to be no bad no more. I want to wake up for real, and not they wake up, but the real wake up. What do I do? Well, what do they do, Spirit? What would one do if they no longer want to live in the belly of beasts, in the belly of the beast, like unchewed food? What do they do when they want to become bitter like wormwood to the beast so that it's forced to spit them out? What do they do? My people don't perish if they don't have a lack of knowledge. This means you have to take your intelligence and your enlightenment about the world into your own hands. And the truth is a double-edged sword. So when you find something that might be a truth, but you instantly want to reject it because it stings, look on the other side of that sword. It's a double-edged sword. They say the truth hurts. The good thing about it, though, is that it's truth. And you know what to do when you have the truth. You know how to not be in the dark when you have the truth. Hurt, pain don't last forever. But in this case, ignorance can. It can be permanent. Absolutely live. Maintain sovereignty of your mind. Because the deceiver that they told y'all would come after in the end days has been upon us. The end days have been a long end days. Since the advent of the United States in America, that's when I can say that the clock that you guys, the Christians, were expecting to see, it started ticking then, when the U.S. became the U.S. You guys are being conned, lied to, manipulated out of your sovereignty. The magician is a sovereign card. It is the I am. So Liv, you are almost psychic in the way you said it. Maintain sovereignty of your mind. It will be an uphill battle. But one, this is a 10, one that has an ending. Don't give up though. It'll be an uphill battle. But how much you want to live? How bad you want to live? All right, well, that's that for that. This was real cutesy. Members, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll do a reclaiming the presidents tomorrow. And then I'll go to the inner courts and we'll pick up where we left off with our study of the Sibyls. And I'm very excited about that. I'm also excited to go and eat this curry chicken, rice and peas, steamed vegetables, and extra pickles that I got from the Haitians. So, ça passe to the Haitians. Love you guys. See you tomorrow and good night. Oh, yes. First thing in the morning, I'll be at the post office sending out the Venus ceremony gris-gris. So they are made, they are charmed, and ready to be used by you. I'll be up there in the morning. Love you. Bye.